here to talk about sex positivity, what it is, how it looks, and the effects it has on your health and well-being, and the health and well-being of the people around you. So first off, what is sex positivity? It's a great question. To put it simply, sex positivity means having positive and respectful attitudes about sex and sexuality for you and others. Sex positivity looks at sexuality as a natural, normal, healthy, and pleasurable part of being human. Having a positive sexual attitude includes supporting everyone's control over their own sexual identities, behaviors, and relationship structures, including celibacy, promiscuity, monogamy, polyamory, and asexuality. It also encourages believing that everyone has an inherent worth as a person, regardless of what sexual acts they have or have not engaged in, and regardless of their gender or sexual affiliations. Okay, so what does that look like? Well, some attitudes and behaviors that reflect sex positivity include believing that everyone has an inherent worth as a sexual being and that all consensual sexual behaviors and desires are okay. Encouraging holistic sex education, inclusion, and discussions about sexual pleasure. Encouraging healthy, open conversations about sex and masturbation. And recognizing that STDs are not a moral failing and that they are treatable. Sex positivity is something that has to be developed and implemented as a culture, but almost all of American college campuses are currently characterized by a hookup sexual culture. The hookup culture refers to the idea that casual sexual encounters are the best or the only way to engage in sexual activity, and even those who are not sexually active have to contend with this culture. Hookup culture can be really destructive, especially when viewed as the only option for sex. In fact, only 25% of students thrive in this culture. Others tend to find it unappealing or would rather just not have sex. Some have found it to be traumatic, very difficult to handle, and just disappointing. The biggest destructive part of the hookup scene comes from being socially isolated, when students choose to not engage or when students feel they are forced to operate by a set of dysfunctional rules. Hookup culture encourages the punishing of emotional attachments and encourages cruelty and inappropriateness by promoting competitiveness and status-seeking standards of attractiveness. This culture also increases the risk for sexual crimes and sexual victims. To change the hookup culture on college campuses into a sexually positive environment, there are a few things we must tackle. First, we need to promote casual sexual encounters that involve care and compassion towards our sexual partners. We also need to promote diversifying the kind of sexual encounters that are seen as good and pleasurable. All right, so we've talked about what sex positivity is, what it looks like, and what is normally seen on college campuses. So why does it matter? The answer to that is sex positivity and good sexual health impact health and well-being in a lot of different ways. Normally, the first thing that comes to mind here is sexually transmitted diseases and condoms, direct ways that sex and health meet. But it's way more than that. As we mentioned earlier, the idea of sex positivity is having positive, respectful attitudes about sex and sexuality and being open in communication about sex. This practice of sex positivity can have an impact on emotional, psychological, physical, intellectual, and spiritual health. For you in your life, sexual positivity can increase self-esteem, increase sexual pleasure, increase sexual satisfaction, increase relationship quality and partner communication. It can also decrease stress, anxiety, and sexual risk-taking. True sex positivity that creates a culture where everyone's sexual practices and preferences, assuming they are consensual, are accepted, means the other people around you get those same listed benefits. A study done on a university campus showed that simply having a support system of people with similar sexual preferences decreased emotional distress. Another awesome potential benefit of sex positivity is a decrease in sexual assault occurrences, since sex positivity helps to eliminate rape culture. Moving on to that condom topic I skipped over earlier. It turns out that culture and other factors play a crucial role in determining the consistent use of condoms and safe sexual behavior in many communities. Please keep in mind here that when we say condoms, we are talking about both internal and external condoms, as culture affects the use of both. Some of the barriers that affect decisions about and feelings about condoms include, first, religious and ethnic factors, like sex and how different cultures impart shame around talking about sex or engaging in it. Second is social factors, like gender inequality, a lack of conversations about condom use, and social stigmas associated with negative condom use outcomes, like STDs. A third is personal reluctance or embarrassment. This could stem from avoidance of discussions of sex or embarrassment in seeking condoms from health facilities. And finally, social norms. What do our friends think about using condoms? Are they necessary? Are they useful? Are our families and family members encouraging us to use condoms? Are they using them? Will my sexual partner respond positively if I ask about using condoms? These are all factors that affect how we use condoms consistently. All of these stigmas and barriers to condom use are perpetuated by our societal and personal beliefs associated with sex. In order to overcome these things, we, as college students and a community, need to work on becoming more sex positive and promoting sexual health. Okay, I know I just talked a lot, but now you know about all of these barriers and factors affecting sexual behavior. So it's your turn, as responsible students, to act and not be affected by other people and their judgment or their opinions towards your sexual behavior. It's time to stand up for others and what's safe and right for you and the people you care for. I'll leave you with this thought. Protect yourself and the people you care for and work to overcome the cultural and social stigma around sex and sexual health. Be proud of what you stand for. Don't be ashamed of who you are. You are a human being and we all have our needs and desires, the same as anyone else does. Accept others for who they are and don't judge their needs and wants. And finally, have fun, be safe, and encourage meaningful sexual conversations with your friends and partners. It's healthy. Thanks for listening, and here are all the references for the brilliant minds that provided the information we shared today. Thank you.